Hello everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. We are here for our 117th installment here of the Talk That Talk Show. You know, like I said, each and every week, you continue to give your trust and spend a little time with me, so I appreciate that so much. Shout out to Vitamin Z, who's on our Instagram live stream. Shout out to Hawks, that boy Heard on the Instagram live stream, and then everybody else that's joining us on Facebook Live as well. But we got a really exciting episode here for you today. We've had a lot that's really happened this week as far as in the sports world and, you know, just in the lives of our own as well too. But we got a lot of people on here today that are gonna provide a couple different perspectives for you, and I'm really excited about some that you guys may have seen before. Some of you tuning in for the first time, might be your first time seeing them, man. But you know, just be excited, and I tell you what, it's gonna be a great episode. So before we get into it, I definitely want to give a special shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to Joe Snow and Maria over at New York Life, helping people to get their financial freedom every single day. Also want to give a shout out to my boy Savion Gaynor over at Sky-Dye Socks. That's my hat brother over there, and you know, we've been doing a lot of big things, you know, just as far as designing and as far as building the brand. So, you know, I appreciate him so much, and like we said, it's always important to have positive people around you. I also want to give a big shout out to Jeff Galata over at Air We Are. He's had a nice big-time recovery, seeing that he's in good spirits. Thank you so much for everyone that had him in your prayers, because, you know, he's feeling much better, and, you know, I'm glad to hear that from him, yo. And then finally, want to give a big shout-out to my boy Timmy Hugel over at Ink Parlor. Yo, he's helped me to put some of these new pins into motion. Yo, the second version of our T-shirts are going to be fire. And then even Talk That Talk Show, don't worry, man. We got some heat coming that way with some shorts, actually, from the pre-order that people ordered in. And then also I got some stuff I don't want to tell you just yet. So you just keep tuning in. You know, keep sticking with me. We actually added some things to the website as well. You can check us out at talkthattalkshow.com. You know, subscribing on YouTube. Do anything, man. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. And don't be afraid if you're not watching the show live, guys. That's the whole reason why we have a podcast here. Shout out to my boy Troy Anthony. It was so good to just hear from him. He, you know, thanked me for his shout out. And, you know, I didn't expect him or know that he was listening or tuning in. And it just showed me and proved to me again that you never know who's watching. And that's why it's so important that I come here each and every week to deliver you guys the show that you want to hear. So without further ado, I got the first guest here on the show tonight. No heme hold, all right? We're going to give the disclaimer. But, yo, we want to give a big round of applause. He beat my Knicks in the playoffs. I forgive him for that. We're going to let him on the show. Everyone, please give a big, warm round of applause for Theo Mahan. And just in time, we got Al, who just signed in. And shout out to Doc G all the way in Poconos. Hope you're having a good time, girl. Oh, man. What's going on, Theo?
What's good, B?
How you feeling, man?
How you doing, man? You already know what the Hawks do.
I tell you, my man, he came different here, yo. He came into my house, I'm not gonna lie. I had a Mets shirt on thinking I was flying. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wear a free shirt Friday. Mets playing on Friday. And then Theo came out. He just stepped on me, man. He was just wilding on me. I'm just glad it wasn't a Trae Young jersey.
Oh, no. I wouldn't do that, man. Look, man, he's not good in Dykeman, so I know he wouldn't be good here. So.
He's not valid. But this is the first time I really got to talk to you, you know, past the playoffs. But, you know, just how did you feel about your Hawks? You know, did you expect them to, you know, not only beat the Knicks, but to go as far as they did? And, you know, what did you think about that?
To be honest, I really didn't expect, because we had such a bad start, through basically to the All-Star weekend, it was just really bad. And then when we fired our coach, best move ever.
Yeah, no, they were on fire after that happened. Man.
After that, I guess I can see, like, you know, sometimes you play better when you have somebody you want to play under, and we just played amazing. And then, like, when we went to the playoff run, when we played the Knicks, I knew that would be a good series. I didn't expect 4-1. I'd say more like 4-2, 4-3. But, man, it was crazy to even beat the 76ers. Like, I was amazed by that. I thought Embiid was going to be too much for us. And, even to play the the Bucks, the way we played them, it was really amazing. Just thinking like maybe if Trae Young doesn't get hurt from the referee, we could have maybe made the finals. So it was a great move for us.
And I think the big thing that happened too is kind of like, so often, we kind of took away the notion that, the Hawks and the Knicks were kind of riding that parallel path, and both teams, exceeded expectations. But we just saw that, the regular season was completely different from, the postseason. And the Hawks just seemed to, without, too much star power. I mean, they did it with, Bogdanovich, who, pretty much kicked up. And then you had Herder, who was playing well as well, too. So, the Hawks were a tough team. And, we've seen that they've also made some free agency pickups. Yes. So, can you tell us a little bit about, what your team's done in free agency and what you feel about that?
So, the biggest part was re-signing John Collins.
And, yeah.
We had to have him back. I mean, he said he wanted to run it back, so he wants to run it back.
And that was crazy because remember, in the middle of the year, they were talking about trading this guy,
Exactly. And I think that more or less, I think that had to do with the coach. So I think that moving the coach and also like the big playoff run made him just say, I really want to stay here. And we made some good moves in the draft.
Yes, sir.
I love the players. I love Cooper, man. I can't wait to see him. I call him Mini Trey. So I hope he can really show out the way that Trae Young really showed out this year.
Facts. And I think that again, the one thing that Atlanta has shown is that with the guys that they draft, whether it's whatever coaching, system that they have, we have guys or they have guys in Atlanta that just know how to groom players or how to develop players. And I think that that's very underrated, especially where you have the Knicks who have failed to develop players as well as, preferably like with Kevin Knox or Frank Ntilikina. Those are failed projects now. And we've seen that with the Hawks, they've been able to, build this team and build those key players to become contributors deep down in the stretch, man. Yeah. So, is there anybody that you think that maybe you would like to add to that Hawks team, if you guys still have some moves to make?
I really like the Tristan Thompson pickup because we needed a backup center really, really bad. We had Gallinari playing big man, and that's a little scary.
I know, man. He's no rim protector.
He's not. So, I'd like to get another solid big man maybe. And just somebody that can back up John Collins and also Capella. That would be really good because I think shooting wise we're fine.
Yeah. We saw so many times in the Garden in the playoffs where, the Knicks were coming back and you just get a couple dagger threes from guys. And, it's just crazy, that you also think, who was also that guy that you guys had that was hurt for most of the year? And he didn't even... Hunter, yeah.
We needed him so bad during that last series.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
And he was a very physical defender, man. And you've seen that a lot of times, especially with, Knicks and a lot of the teams that struggle in the playoffs, is from the perimeter defense. And that's the one thing that I will say, the Hawks did hold it down on the perimeter, man. But, how from what we've seen so far based off of, what the Hawks did with going to the Eastern Conference Finals, how far do you think this team can go next year?
I'd say injuries aside, I think we'll be another... I can see us being 4 or 5 again, 4 or 5 seed again. I still think the 76ers are still good.
Yeah.
The Bucks, another good team, and who's the 2 seed? The Knicks are still going to be good. They added Kemba. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
I still see us around 4. I don't think... I love to believe in my team and say we're a championship team. But I know what we can do, and I can see that it's more or less maybe a conference finals, maybe the second round.
And I wouldn't put them too far out because I think, Trae Young, with him being motivated, you see videos of him still playing basketball, you know what I'm saying? I love. And that's what you like to see from your franchise guy, especially if you just missed tasting that championship, man. So, I also think that it was big that the Knicks did re-sign Julius Randle, and I think the big thing for us was that he took the pay cut to give the team some flexibility. Why do you think it is, Theo, that not many players are willing to do that these days, you feel like?
You have the Kawhi Leonards.
Yes.
Who are not willing to take any pay cut. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then you have the players like Julius Randle who understand that he wants to win.
Yes.
And it can't just be... He saw this year that it wasn't. He couldn't do it by himself.
Yeah.
So they tried to let him do his thing, do the point forward thing, and it didn't work. So I think this time if he can actually get a team around him, they'll be like with Kimba, maybe if Evan Fournier can play like he played against the USA team.
Yeah. Well, you remember what Damian Lillard said? He goes, "Yo, these foreign players, they start playing like they never played before when they go for playing for their countries, man," which is crazy,
It's
But I definitely think that. From the moves that have been made, it definitely will put both Atlanta and New York in a much better state to hopefully win some games, man. But one team that didn't win over the past weekend was Dipset, man. At least in my opinion, I don't know. So did you watch that versus battle?
100%. I was in there, invested, and saw everything.
Oh man, it was crazy because we had just got out of bowling, and I was in the parking lot, and I just had it streamed on the phone. I said, "Doc, we're not moving. I gotta watch this, man." So we watched, the whole thing. And what were your first impressions, man, when you watched that versus, bro?
I saw my boy Jada.
Yeah.
And I knew he was ready. He was ready. He looked ready. Dipset really looked like the Harlem kind of guys that you see all the time. The kind of guys that come out flashy. They came out with the new jewelry, new everything, and the LOX came out ready to go, grimy and ready to go.
Yes, they
did. They were ready to ride. Everything was good. Cameron and the rest of them, they showing off. They want to have the big crowd with them. LOX came with like
10 people.
Maybe his wife. That's it. He didn't come with nobody.
Yeah.
So they looked like they were ready to battle. And it actually gave me a battle rap vibe where it was more like they were there and they were ready to rap.
Yeah.
Cameron and Dipset, they was ready to act. And it wasn't like they were really there, and they didn't even know their lyrics. So
it was tough.
It was bad,
especially as someone who was a big Diplomats fan.
Yes.
It was tough to watch Jewels when they cut the lyrics off. My man was that was terrible, man. But I think I gotta ask you because I know I have my favorite. What was your favorite part of that versus battle?
Oh, my favorite part?
Yeah.
Oh man, there was too many.
That's what I'm saying. That's why everybody getting the same question because everybody had a different part. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part had to be when Jada was just. Oh no, actually no. Oh man, there was so many good parts.
I know.
It might have been when Styles said shout out to Max B and then saying locked up.
Oh my gosh.
That was actually really bad. I actually felt for
Dipset. Oh man.
And right after you played Skull Gang, it wasn't good,
Purple
man.
City Bird Gang. It's like you gotta play Dipset songs if you have a Dipset battle, man. And I think, one of my favorite parts was definitely when Sheik Luch, the only song that he had to perform, and my man Jewels laid down and went to sleep. I was like, it's not like you're killing it, bro. You got no right to sleep on nobody, bro.
Like we understand Sheik Luch is
everybody needs to play their role.
Yeah, he's the third. So
I don't know what Freaky Zeke was doing, man.
He was the dance girl that night.
Oh man. Every time I saw him, I was thinking of that song. My girl wants to party. I'm like, this dude ain't even rapping, bro. Oh no. No. Yo, we gonna stop the slander, man. Let's stop bodying my man Dipset, my team, man. But nah, let's put it this way. I think if anything that can be, sawn from that is just, the preparation. You know what I'm saying?
100.
Jadakiss, literally, we have Ish that said Jadakiss had 63 points, 14 rebounds, and no assists. It was true because he did his lyrics and then he did everybody else's lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
He played everybody's part that night, man.
Oh, man.
You could tell they rehearsed. They were ready. They were 100% ready.
Yeah, man. But, real quick, man, Theo, I appreciate you here for coming on the show.
Oh, man.
Yes.
I appreciate you having for the second time.
The third time.
Repeat, baby.
Not too many people get to come here on the show. But, I appreciate Theo so much for coming here on the show again. Theo is somebody who's, very knowledgeable, and, I appreciate his his knowledge so much, man, and he knows how to have a good time, and that's what it's all about. Shout out to everybody that's here in the house as well too. I got the whole gangs here. We got Kenny Lou, Z-Shawn, we got Twan. I can't tell you the other two yet because they're about to come here on the show. So without further ado, the second person here on the show. We joke around, we say he's the big blood, he's the big blood, a huge Chicago Bulls fan, and let's hear what he has to think here. So here we go for Rese Smith! There you go! What's good, man? Yo, guys, do you see the heat that he has on his head right now? Oh, man! Yo, with the icy blue bottom, with the World Series. Oh, man! Come on, Rese. Why you come on my show like that? I'm just here chilling in the grave room. He trying to ice me out, guys. What the fuck? Come on, how you gonna ice me out my own show?
Come in with some heat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. But yo, Rese. Peter is not here with us today, so there will not be tacos. We're gonna hear a lot more from Rese tonight. But just while we're on the topic, what was your thoughts of that versus battle, man?
Oh man, listen, man.
You don't know where to start.
Man, first of all, I try to let everybody know. We talking about the LOX here, man. Everybody, Dipset, Flashy, call me the big blood.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, listen, man, they weren't ready, man. It was bad.
Yeah.
Worst part for me was when when Jada snatched his bandana.
Oh no! And not only just placed it, but he
threw it.
I was like, damn, Joel, how you?
Bro, it was so bad, man. Like I was on Xbox with Theo and everybody that night. We was all watching in the party, and I'm just like, yo, this is bad, man. Like it was just a sad day for Harlem. Like I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? It was bad. Jada came in there and he destroyed him, really.
By himself,
by
man.
himself.
And
by himself.
I think the worst part also for me was when Jadakiss, I think he had just got done. I think I forget who it was. I think they Dipset had just finished up like a track, and Jadakiss said, "Nah, that wasn't enough. Y'all need another round." I was like, "Damn, I gotta take that for the Call of Duty,
and
man."
It's crazy because Jim tried to play the whole gang role with the Purple City Burger, and it's like, bro, that ain't even a hit. That's a street classic. Ain't nobody really trying to hit that.
And I think that Theo had, I guess alluded to earlier was the fact that the lip syncing once Jadakiss said it, it was just so difficult to get off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Called Cam out for living in Florida.
He said, "Yo, you still in Miami? Yo, you don't even live in New York. New York, I'm outside. I'm outside New York." Yo, I'm telling you, let me ask you this, Rese. Mm-hmm. Is it out of the realm of possibility to say that Jadakiss had the best performance of this decade?
Oh, no, not at all. He definitely did.
I hate this. Who else was better than that?
Out of all the verses, man, yeah, Jada killed it. I mean, and I don't even know what everybody was thinking when they thought Fab was gonna beat him. I'm like,
oh man,
Fab got hits, but like, come on, man.
Oh man,
and it was bad. He wasn't even playing the hits that we thought he would play.
Of course,
he was playing, the lady joint, which is not bad. That's Fab Lane. But it wasn't it, man. Not with Jada.
and that was the toughest part, man, because I know for me personally that Dipset and LOX, those were guys that we grow accustomed to. You know what I'm saying, and we really we hold on to those feelings that they brought from us. Man. But to have someone like him that just fumbled the bag, man, and then Jim Jones falls off the fucking stage, man. Like, come on, dog.
He said that he dropped his wedding ring or something like that, and he dove in the crowd to go get it. I was like, what? How'd you see it?
Guys, do you believe that? Look at me. Do you believe that? You know what I mean? Like,
come on, man. The video don't lie. You clearly walked off the stage and fell, man. Like,
it was bad, man. I'm just glad he didn't have Tim's on because he could have really hurt someone.
Well, you see that outfit he had on looking like a shiny track.
Yo, he said, "I'm not losing nobody in leather pants." Yo, there's just too many quotables from
and he had the chain hanging from it. I'm like, where'd you get that fit from?
Oh, man. He was watching too much Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, my God. It was bad, man. It was bad.
But, when we're usually on the topic of laughing, sometimes it's at the expense of the Bulls.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
right now, there's not much laughter because we've been making some good moves in Chicago.
Man.
So can you tell us a little bit about what Chicago's doing and how you're feeling as a Bulls fan?
Dude, I'm feeling good, man. Last time I had this feeling, we know Derrick Rose was, tearing the NBA.
He had 2 ACLs.
Yeah, there you go. So it was heartbreaking. And then next few years we had to deal with management, which was terrible. Garpax, glad they're gone. I think the moves are good, man. I like the DeRozan move. I don't know how he's gonna fit in the roster, but I like it. I'm hoping to see what they're going to do on the floor next. It's definitely not going to be a lot of defense being played, but we're going to score some points, though.
I tell you what, I think DeMar DeRozan will definitely help out for Zach LaVine.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're Chicago, when you're going against Chicago, you stop Zach LaVine, you stop
That's
that
it.
team.
Yep,
I mean, I'm not worried about Denzel Valentine.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about Wendell Carter killing me.
No.
I think that, with DeMar DeRozan, you get a bona fide scorer. He gets to open up the floor for Zach LaVine. And also Lonzo Ball, who you guys have signed as well, too,
that
right?
Pick, that signing I like a lot, man. He brings the defense. I will say that there's a status I posted, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, where I said Lonzo was trash and all the hype and everything. So before anybody pulls it up on me, says, yo, what about this? And what happened? Like, he improved. I like the trade.
Yes.
It's good for us. I'm not giving up on Kobe. I just don't think he's it right now. I think a little bit more time he can get that starting role or become a good piece for us. But I like the Lonzo trade though.
Yeah, I think Lonzo is definitely a good pickup because especially for a team that was lacking in that point guard position. You had Dunn who didn't work out, and you saw how that didn't work. And continuously in that point guard position, there has been problems. So I think that if Lonzo can stay healthy, he will add a little bit of solidarity there with the Bulls.
Absolutely.
But with them missing, the playoffs and seeing, kind of the moves that they've made, is there anything else that you think the Bulls need to get to, really solidify themselves as a playoff team?
I would say another wing, and probably a big man. I think they're talking about getting rid of Markkanen. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But yeah, I would say another wing and a big man. And then we should be set, like Theo said. I ain't thinking finals. I don't want everybody to think we made trades. Like, all right, we're going to the chip. I'm not saying that. I just think we'll make the playoffs this year. We'll probably make some noise, but I don't want to get too crazy. You know what I mean? But I like it's just feels good to be a Bulls fan again, man. I the jerseys are buried in the back of the closet.
Yeah, right. You're still pulling out the black D-Rose jersey, right? The shiny one, not the shiny one. That shit was hot, man. That shit was hot.
Nate Robinson.
Yeah, man. It just like I said, with the management and everything, man. It feels good, man. It definitely feels good.
Yeah, and I think that also, on the other hand as well too, you have a franchise now that it kind of seems like they have a little bit of hope. I think that like you alluded to before, there's not really much motivation to watch a Bulls game, but I think that aside if Geoff has like a parlay going or something, I could see myself watching a Bulls game. They have some pieces there that I would like to watch for sure. I
just got to shout out my boy Twan and the Lakers for that Caruso trade.
Oh man.
I mean?
We're going to have a couple people. We said no Western Conference. We're not going to talk about those old Lakers. The decrepit Lakers.
Give that shout out real quick.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, I was a little shocked by that trade too, actually. But I think he would be good. He's a pretty good defender. His highlights, like putback dunks, are insane.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy that is not even over 6'2", right?
Yeah, exactly.
But, I think that one thing that Caruso does bring to that team is a championship pedigree. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
regardless of whatever happened in Texas where, the whole weed shit.
Right, yeah.
It's the off season. People get, it's not like he was out here dealing dope or nothing.
Exactly. He was on the corner or something.
Yeah, he had a mistake,
Right.
We understand. And I think that sometimes, especially dealing with changing a scenery, a lot of people take it differently. You look at Chris Bryant, the guy was in tears in the Chicago Cubs dugout. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes it's a little bit difficult for people to make that adjustment.
Right.
But I think that Caruso will be fine in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But real quick, before I let you off the air here, Rese, what's been going on with you in the past couple of days on the Warzone, man? Have you been playing? Like, what's been going? Any new guns you've been trying out?
I actually been playing with the QBZ, which is
really
it's shockingly good, actually. And I just recently unlocked the CX9. I think.
Okay, I've been seeing. I think it's like a heavy rifle.
It's an SMG or something. It's not like that good as far as range goes. But dude, you get up close on somebody, forget about it. It don't matter if they had a MAC-10 nail gun, whatever. They're going down automatically. It's ridiculous, man. And I just unlocked that yesterday, but. I don't know, man. Recently, man, Warzone feels a lot of hackers. Like, people are jumping up from behind crates and sniping me one shot, and I'm just like,
it's like, yeah. And that's the worst when you've already played 15 minutes in the game. Like, yo, how did this guy? Then you see the kill count. Leave lobby. Leave lobby. I ain't playing that no more.
Man, like I remember one day, I think me and you were playing. We got 2 loadouts. We got ghosted up. I had a satchel. I had my 8 plates. I got my guns. I'm ready to rock. And I think I take one step. And I'm down. I'm like, where the hell did they come from? Dude sitting on a tower somewhere. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like,
I turned it off instantly. I'm like, I'm done. I don't even play this no more, man.
And that's the thing that really, if you're out there and you're a hacker, man, I hate you.
I hate you. Yes, we hate you.
I hope you go to sleep early. I hope your mom turns off your Xbox.
I'm not wishing death on anybody. Nothing crazy like that. Hopefully the Xbox blows up in your face.
Remember the old red rings of death?
Oh, yes.
I hope vape smoke comes out of your Xbox. But yo, real quick, give it up for Big Rese for coming here on the show. Thank you so much, Rese. And yo, don't ever come out here ice me out on my show. This man killed me on my own show.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
But real quick, guys, I thank you so much here for tuning into the show. Big Blood Rese came on the show. We had a nice guest appearance from my boy Theo as well too. But I tell you what, man, there's still a lot more to go because we've saved the one guy you all know, me to be the good friends with here. He handed me my first loss on MLB The Show today. I don't know how I feel about having him here on the show here, but he gave me a nice slice of humble pie. So real quick, give a big shout out to the biggest Nets fan, the realest Nets fan I know. The realest Nets fan I know. I'm going to catch some flack when I get on the Xbox party for that one. But everyone out there, please give a big round of applause for my boy, Geoff Ferrell. Wow, just check to see if this is good here. Yo. Damn, man, where you get that T-shirt from, man? Where you get that OG2 flip from, man? He said you know the vibe. Damn, man.
Got what you did.
Why you have to beat me like that? He gave me that 4-1 loss, man. Yo, all right, before we get into it, though, but what do you think is the biggest difference from back when I was playing the game every day to now where, you're coming out with all the 99s? Now, what changed, dog? What happened?
You just gotta improve your lineup a little bit,
You see how he subtly tells me that, man? Like, you gotta play the game. But for those that don't know, this is Betmaster G to the right to me. He's been, he's been out here killing it with the betting, man.
Capping.
No, not capping. No, you've been killing it. But you were also somebody that when I called you, I called him during the verse to see if he was watching. I got that ignore button quick because my man was watching. He had to watch it.
I was tuned in.
So what did you think of that versus battle, Geoff?
Oh, it was the best one yet. Honestly, like you can't. I don't think anybody else can top that. Really, Yeah. I mean, from the LOX perspective, they were definitely a good performer.
Yeah.
Good performance. It was entertaining. Dipset, bit disappointing.
Very. He's giving an understatement. Very disappointing, man. But I have to ask you as well too. What was your favorite part from that whole versus battle?
Oh, there's so many.
There's so many.
Probably one of them was probably the part when Jadakiss was like, "I should be at home watching the honeymooners."
New York, what are we doing here?
probably the other part when he pointed at Joel's and he was like, I know people that went to prison to get their teeth fixed, and he pointed at Joel's.
Oh no! I think another one was when he just finished performing. He was like, "Yo, sit down, little nigga." I was like, "Damn, man, how could Joel's grab the mic after that?" You know what I'm saying?
Or the Grammy line when he was like, "Oh, we know Grammys and all y'all know is grams."
Oh my! Yo, I'm telling you, man. I mean, after that performance, Jeff, I know we talked about best performance. Would you put Jadakiss in your top 5 now?
I mean, he was before.
Okay. But I tell you what, man, like you said, Jadakiss is somebody that, maybe for you, is in your top 5 already. But I think for a lot of people, he proved why he deserves to be in that top 5, He's definitely somebody that I liked him, but I really underestimated how many hits the LOX have, man.
Yeah, no, they do. And honestly, if you're a true hip-hop connoisseur, you knew that already. So you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you did. I just did. Cameron tried, though. He put Dipset on his back for a little bit, right?
A little bit. But Cam is, to me, Cam is limited because I feel like Cam's potential before the whole Goo Goo Gaga raps, Horse and Carriage Cam was tough, and when he started wearing pink and stuff, I like some of the songs, but some of it was just too much for me. Too much.
I mean, Joel's came out in 3 different outfits.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, my man looked like he was in Baghdad at first. And then, you know what I'm saying?
You can't lie. They stay true to themselves. They always dress that way.
Yeah.
So
I think that also shows.
Up.
And I think that shows too. I think Theo alluded to it too. But just the difference between even it's New York City, just the difference between Yonkers guys and Harlem dudes. It's a big difference, especially for people that aren't from the tri-state area. I think that was something that was noticeably visible at that versus battle.
Yeah, that's facts.
But, above all, it was definitely a big night for, New York. And, I think that we underestimated, too, is at the end where, they all went together and was like, at the end of the day, it's all love. And they said peace. You know what I'm saying? Had everybody in the crowd say peace. And, I think that's dope, especially where, you have a lot of times where when things end or where, you have shootings and you have things that happen. Yeah. But I didn't hear not one incident after that happened. So, like you said, I think that was big for hip-hop.
And even so, they continued on. They're going on tour now.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, was that all this whole purpose of that verse?
Probably.
There's always an underlying factor, guys. There always is. Ink Parlor says, what we should be talking about are those new OG4 Talk That Talk show stickers. Ooh. I think that's a better topic. Tim, why are you giving out all the goodies, bro? He's still all the... Yo, come on, man. Yo, Tim. See, I can't be mad at... See, this is why I like him as a sponsor, because he's so excited, so excited to show the people what we working on, all right? But yeah, we got some stickers in the work. Don't worry, you'll have one too, Jeff.
I appreciate it. I got a nice little spot on my Xbox.
Oh, see, that's what I like to hear. Not a PS5, an Xbox, right? But we know your team. We saw what happened. With KD just coming inches from taking that team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Overall, Jeff, as a true Nets fan, what did you think of that Nets season?
I think we had championship aspirations. It was a little bit disappointing seeing us get that far and Kyrie going down. Honestly, honestly, the tale of that whole season was just injuries.
Yeah.
KD, from the start of the season, the whole COVID protocol thing. KD is out a couple games, like a week or two.
Then James Harden,
and then
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie. So it's like, hopefully this year we can stay somewhat healthy, throughout the year into the playoffs. And
one of the things that he was so hyped to tell me was about some of those acquisitions on the Xbox. So, what are those acquisitions both in free agency and in the draft that you're excited about as a Nets fan?
I'm definitely excited about Patty Mills. I think Patty Mills is going to bring an edge to our bench. We lost a couple guys, but I feel like the young guy, Cam Thomas, I think he's going to bring something to the bench. We lost Jeff Green, so
Uncle Jeff.
We replaced him with James Johnson, who's not as good as a shooter.
But what does he bring?
He brings toughness. So I think during that Bucks series, you saw they lacked rebounding, especially
on the offensive. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I don't know how many times I saw Giannis break a free throw and Brook Lopez just put his hands up and grab a rebound and they get a second possession. So we need rebounding. We need guys that are going to crash the boards, that are going to bang, and do what's necessary. Yeah,
and I think that's, like you said, that gritty, that toughness, that grind it out. Those guys that are willing to get dirty, get their hands dirty. I think that, like you said, James Johnson does fit that build for bringing a little bit of toughness to that team, and especially like you said, the health. Health is definitely something that you can never predict. A guy getting hurt or not being at his 100%. But I think that, like you said, the Nets are built around not just having one guy kill it, and to have KD and James Harden and Kyrie all be healthy at the same time. We saw that was a dangerous team to try and play against, man. But what we did see also, and the one that we are both fans of, we actually are fans of the same team here, is we're big Mets fans.
Yes, sir.
So we saw that the Mets added Rich Hill. We saw that they've added Javi Baez. He's hit a dinger for us to help us out and get us a lead here. But what we have seen is that the Mets have dropped a lot of games and are now just a half game up. So, can you talk about what you've seen, from when the Mets were really doing well and what's went wrong to where now we're fighting just to go into the playoffs?
I just feel like the bats went quiet. Before it was the pitching. The pitching was one of the main problems because everybody was injured. But now I just feel like it's the bats. Like, they forgot how to hit.
Yeah. And it's tough, man, because, you're having guys that, at the beginning of the season, they're trying to find their form. But now these pitchers are in postseason form, right?
I'm laughing at Pete.
Oh, he said Jeff didn't want...
I didn't want Javi Baez. You're right, Pete. That
is
very true.
So what made you change to now you liking Javi Baez?
I think the other night when he was sliding into home plate.
Oh my God!
I saw that play and I was like, "Oh, that was something different." So
guys,
I was like,
if
there, that changed my mind.
If you did not see that slide, please Google Javi Baez slide to home plate. The guy literally he was out. The ball beat him to the base, but what he did was he slid, altered his body, and extended the other arm to become safe and to give the Mets the lead. That was absolutely incredible. That's a Peter slide right there, isn't it? That's a Peter stealing second base slide, But see, Pete, I'll give you some props there too, man. But I would say this, Jeff. You've alluded to also before about the Mets, how they've had the follies at the end of the season. We know as it's custom to our Mets for this to happen, but how confident are you to us winning the division and kind of breaking out of that trend?
Well, right now my confidence is it's not all the way up. I'll tell you that because I'm kind of worried about DeGrom. So if DeGrom comes back and he's good, I'm pretty confident because DeGrom's the best pitcher in baseball, and when he's on, nobody can stop him.
Guys. He is incredible, man. I mean, what's your favorite DeGrom start this year?
It's too many, man.
Right?
He was mowing them down like all season.
I think one of mine was when right before he got injured. I think he had struck out the first 9 batters of the game.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I was like, dude, I think this guy is gonna have a perfect game. But it was sad to see him go out with injuries, but. Do you think that they should have shelved him from the beginning, or do you think that this is somebody that we needed to keep going out there to see where he was at?
Well, the Mets, they have a history with their injured players. So, usually they either rush them back too soon or they protect them, And I felt like they wanted to shell him up, but they also wanted to be competitive at the same time. So I think DeGrom was hiding it too a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because just out of nowhere he was okay, and then he had a bad start, and then all of a sudden he's on the IL, and then it was like, all right, he's gonna come back, and I kept reading, oh, he's progressing, he's throwing this and that, and then all of a sudden he has tightness again. So it's like, now he's out till what, September?
I think so, yeah. And that's right before the playoffs start, and it's like
it's not. And then we got to see what's up with Syndergaard too. He's supposed to be coming back in September too. So, I like Carrasco coming back. Carrasco, he looks like he's going to be a gamer for us. So we just got to see how this pitching rotation is going to round out.
And Jeris Familia and Edwin Diaz, Loop, all those guys, Trevor May, Lugo. You guys got to step it up for us. They got to get it together.
Get it together, please.
Because if they do not start, I'm telling you, Jeff, it's going to come down to a game 3 or a game 5. And, they're going to have to get 3 outs in the 8th, in the 9th.
Tonight.
And who knows what's going to happen. When I see Edwin Diaz come out of the bullpen, I'm like, oh, my.
It's scary.
And it sucks because when you have your closer come in, that's supposed to be the guy that's shut out. 100% he's supposed to get a guy out. And I just haven't felt that way about the Mets pitchers, in the relief part of the bullpen. And it's tough, man, especially if you're going out with championship aspirations, man. But once again, Jeff, I want to thank you again for coming here.
Appreciate
as a guest on the show. Third time, man. Yo, we about to break some records here, guys. But, before I go, I definitely want to talk about, 2 things. We did get a big signing in, Kemba Walker. And I think what a lot of people are underestimating is just the value that we are getting this guy at. And to break down some numbers to you guys, when you're paying a guy in Derrick Rose who has, I don't even know if he has 2 knees anymore, he over exceeded what we expected him to do. But to pay this man $30 million for 3 years, I thought was a little excessive, I think it was a priority to get him back. But I think it's like that one girl, that you take out that you don't really need to take her to dinner. You could just take her to the room. She's going to come back regardless. So that's what I felt like Derrick Rose was. I didn't feel like we had to take him to dinner. Benny Hannes, he was still going to come back with some IHOP, So, I thought we overpaid for him. I do think that, getting back, Alex Burks was also important. But when you look at Kemba Walker, who is a 3-time All-Star and who has averaged 20 points per game multiple times when healthy, to get for under $8 million, and Derrick Rose, Alec Burks are getting more money than this guy, that's a steal in my book, yo. That's a steal. I don't know anybody that should be getting $8 million. Granted, the guy does have some injury concerns, but I think it's one of those deals where, even if he doesn't do as well, it's $8 million. It's still a flexible, manageable contract. Not everything is guaranteed. And what we have seen with the Knicks front office is they're not afraid to make some deals. But the one guy that I was not exactly too excited or frank with was Evan Fournier. I mean, you sign a guy for $70 million that doesn't have much playoff experience when you're trying to have a team to get far into the playoffs. It's one of those things where, we're going to have to see how it works out. If Evan Fournier becomes an all-star this year, I'll be like Rese and say, yo, I said that, my bad, But I tell you what, $70 million, again, was a little bit too much for me. But, when you have the flexibility of the cap space and, you have the certain intertworkings that we've had, I think that things are looking up for the Knicks. And, anybody out there that, again, wants to talk about free agency or what your team is going to potentially do, please look at all the things that go into the team needs, team contract, everything before you make a judgment. Because, like I said, I over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of people making some judgments that were a little without some merit. So, guys, please do your research and rep your teams, man. Once again, big shout out to everybody that came here into the show tonight. I mean, we had 3 big-time guests. We also had an audience here. Like I said, I feel so special to have, not only people that are here, joining in live, but also people, like Carl Samuels or Chris Shank Jr. on our Facebook live stream, or Peter Dunn, filling in the chat box over on Instagram. Yo, it means the world to me, guys, to have you guys continuously tune in and make this show one of the most downloaded shows, man. I mean, guys, in the past week we had over 400 downloads, and we're closing in on over 18,000 downloads. Yo, numbers don't lie, guys, but, the one thing that I can continue to tell you is each and every week, you will have a version of the Talk That Talk show. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give it my best, and I promise that each and every week, I'm going to try and give you guys the best episode that you guys can not only watch live, but also watch on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. We always leave these videos up so you can watch them afterwards. Yo, once again, thank you so much for tuning into the Talk That Talk show. I wouldn't be here at 117 episodes if it wasn't for each and every one of you that continues to tune in each and every week. I love you all. Thank you so much. And next week, I promise you, I'll bring back a beer for that beer review, all right? No more seltzers for just for a little bit. All right, thank you so much, guys. I love you. See you next week.